all offseason, we've been talking about how great the depth in the cornerback room was, and how we weren't concerned at all about replacing L'Jarius Sneed between Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, and Najee Johnson. But with Watson and Najee missing time during this preseason, and then this week, Joshua Williams missing time with a hamstring injury, we know those can linger. The Chiefs may be looking to add a veteran in the cornerback room. This is something we talked about a week or so ago. And this is Spags in talking about that. Quote, I think if you were to talk to Coach Andy Reid or Brett Veach, they'd tell you that they're always looking. They've got their eyes on them. Typically, Brett will come to me and say, well, you look at this guy, that guy. I'm sure that will happen in these next couple of days, end quote. So, JD, obviously we talked about bringing in a veteran DB a week or so ago, but that was before Joshua Williams' injury. And that was obviously, we thought Jalen Watson was going to be back. We thought Najee Johnson was going to be, ready to rock. So as we speak right now on August 21st, what are your thoughts on the Chiefs going to get another DB with yet another injury in this room?
You know what, man? I if it wasn't for the injuries, I don't think this would be an issue. I really don't. And so, like you said, we see, Najee the other day getting hurt, still dealing with a little bit of just these little nicks keep coming up. Obviously, I talked about the compensation that everybody has to do once you get hurt, right? The other parts start to kind of, start messing up a little bit. But this is kind of tough because you'll have to look for somebody that's a veteran guy that could come in and play right now, understands a good defense, knows who's been around the block somewhat. And we can't just bring guys out here who can't run, but bring somebody here who's a guy that can give you some good reps, a good man-on-man corner. That's what it's going to be about. And so I think we talked about it on the show after the first preseason game. And I was just like, well, I don't think we really need one. I knew we had money, but we didn't really need one. And then, of course, here comes the injuries. So, like I said, he said it, man. Veach is he's checking everything out. He's looking to see who's out here, who's willing to come and sign, who's willing to play for a Super Bowl. That's the thing. And so I don't know who that's going to be, a veteran guy. Do you rely on the young guys? Okay, you still have guys out here who can still play, but maybe they don't feel comfortable with those guys yet, right? They don't have the experience to go against when you talking about game one, the Ravens, game two, the Bengals. Like we're going, it's full board, the top of the NFL immediately after game one. We know that. And so you can't mess around with getting a guy in here who doesn't have that type of experience and kind of giving it to him. I like our picks that we had, but is he ready? Rookie guys. I don't know, man. So we'll see in the next few days. Obviously, the evaluation is going to be on those guys right now who plays, tomorrow to see how good they're going to do, right? We might just actually find something out about the guys that we do have, okay, that we didn't know what we had in the room. So hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, then, we got a little time to bring somebody in. So,
I think we do have guys in the room like Kelvin Joseph. I know he was one of the guys who was kind of rotating in at the cornerback too, but
yep.
I think it's the depth beyond that. It's the fact that what if Watson's not ready to come back from his labrum injury? What if Najee's not ready to come back within the first few weeks of the season with the knee and hamstring injury? And how long this Joshua Williams? I think that's the part. That's the worst part of it. It's the fact that all three guys are dealing with some kind of nagging injury, and it's how long is that going to last? And who knows? Based on this trend, Kelvin Joseph, what happens if he goes down? Then we're relying on Kamal Haddon right out the gate, and it's that's a rough spot to be in.
Well, look, I'm not saying that Haddon can't do it. That's what I was saying. You pick him up for a reason. He has all the tangibles that you want. He has the length that you desire. That's why you drafted him. So that's why I was talking about having a young guy like that come in, and you actually may find something. We did that with Joshua Williams on Gallup, and Jalen Watson. Okay, we threw him in a fire, and guess what? After a while, they was able to swim. Okay, it bode well for them, and so I think for us, this game, like I said, it's gonna give you a lot of information about what you have. It really is. The good thing is, when the first game comes back, we're going to get all our 3 top dogs back: Chris Jones, Bolton, and Reid. Okay. Will that help run the scheme defensively to cover a guy like that, to kind of give him a little back? Chamari Connors does a great job. So Spags has guys play for a different reason in different packages. So, yeah, we say Veach we trust. We need to bring a guy in, but I trust Spags. I trust Spags to know his guys. And so I know he's challenged these guys early. You watch him in practice on one-on-ones. It's just them understanding, from college to coming to the NFL, where you're supposed to be in relation to everybody else. That's very important. And it's going to help when you have your general, both your generals back on the very first game of the season with Bolton and Reid. So Reid's one of those guys, like, he can put guys in the right position. It's like, look, we need to protect this guy being over the top, then we'll do that. So we'll just have to see, Marcus. Good deal. Yeah, we'll just have to see.
That's also another thing that Spags kind of mentioned. You mentioned we haven't had we haven't had all the 11 guys in there together, the best 11 in there together this camp. So I mean, as far in any game so far, so like it's kind of tough to judge the defenses of right now. But I would say I wouldn't be mad. Like I see King Mo saying, would Xavier Howard be a fit? And I'm looking at, there's actually a lot of good names out there right now in free agency as far as cornerbacks. It's probably, of all the positions, it's probably one of the better ones. So I'm looking at Xavier Howard, Adoree Jackson, J.C. Jackson, Patrick Peterson, Eli Apple, Jalen Mills. It kind of falls off a little bit there. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad with any of those guys. We have about 15 million to spend. 1 year, you kind of give it more of like an incentive laden deal. I mean, I don't know, but
hey man, look, we got to protect our pockets too. Okay, you can't have a guy coming here and Mandan, like you said, 15 million right off the bat. Like, it's what y'all got. I need all of that. Okay, or even 10, 11. Like we have to. There's got to be somewhat of a trust. Okay, in your guys, and I think Spags knows that. And you got to gauge how fast these guys are going to be able to get back. How bad is, like you said, the injuries. You said it before. How bad are they, right? Can Najee get back? Okay. Can Justin get back? Can Jalen Watson, is he ready to come play? And so, and a lot of it goes into the locker room too. Are these guys going to be a good fit for what we do? You got to evaluate that too. So until that happens, until they pull the trigger on something like that, Marcus, hey, man, I want to see what we do tomorrow in the game, okay? Just kind of leave it at that.
So you think a lot of this, I guess the decision to bring in a new corner kind of goes to this game just to see how the guys who may have to step up, see how they do against other teams, maybe the second team or the third team receivers. You think that a lot of that's going to be dependent on tomorrow?
I think that is the practical thing to do. I do believe that, because you can give it that time. You have enough time to bring a guy in if you needed to. So we're talking about September 5th is the first game. Is that right? So you have time. So let's say everything doesn't work out tomorrow like you planned, and the guys don't look, they look like, chopped liver. Well, then all of a sudden you bring a veteran guy in, you got almost pretty much 2 weeks to work with him. So it's like, okay, we get a guy in, and I told you this. Every time you look, there's a body type that comes into the locker room, and you start looking around the corner like, uh-oh, who was that? Right? If he looks like you, body type wise, he runs fast, you're like, okay, they coming for me. But I don't feel like this is something that such a priority. Like, we just need to go ahead and just go get this guy, right? We may need another guy in a different position later on. So we said the same thing about defensive end. We said the same thing maybe about defensive tackle. Said the same thing about tackle possibly as well, right? Jawan Taylor, he had been nicked up and hurt. So there's some things there that you just can't, don't jump on it immediately. Shoot, give it some time. This game right here, like I said before, is going to give us a whole lot of information to determine what we want to do in the future with these next couple of weeks. So
Yeah, and I'm seeing Lewis Cuthbert here mentioning Gregory Jr. is one of the Chiefs had an interest in during the 2022 draft. The day we brought in that long snapper, we also brought in this cornerback, Gregory Jr., who was drafted by the Jags in the 6th round a couple of years ago.
Okay.
We brought him in on a visit 2 days ago. Obviously, no signing there, but still, it was a guy they brought in. None of the big names everyone's thrown out there: the Xavier Howards, the Adoree Jacksons. I will say this: I do, although I would love the Xavier Howards of the world or, J.C. Jackson, I do think if they bring in someone, it's going to be somebody like a Gregory Jr. I think it's going to be like a name like that. Not going to break the bank. Probably come in. If he looks all right, we'll sign him for a couple weeks maybe. I don't know, but I think it won't be a big name like we all kind of like King Mo hopes for in the chat.
And you gotta realize too, teams are getting rid of guys as well, right? So we're doing our due diligence to find out what other teams have that they might get rid of and say, okay, well, this guy, he has been playing, he's been running around, been practicing. Let's get a guy who's fresh, who's in shape, ready to go. So, I think that's the practical thing to do is absolutely wait at this point. So,
100%.
yeah.
Lewis's comment here: Chiefs have proven to take lesser known players and turn them into something. I'm 100%. Look at Charvarius Ward; he was an undrafted guy, came in. So that also speaks to what JD's talking about as far as if there is injuries, Kamal Haddon's there. He's next man up. See what he can do, and we've seen that come to fruition with guys like Charvarius Ward. Late round guys like L'Jarius Sneed. These guys have stepped up, and we've seen that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Although the sexy name, the Xavier House of the world, it is fun to flash around though, JD.
It is. I you know what, but you never know how a guy's going to work in your system. You don't know what the word is out there on them. You don't know if the Joker's been sitting on the couch eating Cheetos. You have no idea what this guy's been doing. Okay, so my thing is these guys are going to get it right. They know what to do. And like Casey Chief Chad said, Haddon, I like Haddon. I like him. Played, he balled out in college. When we looked at the body type, he had more of a body type like Sneed. Okay, that was one of the reasons. So when you get a guy like that to develop, then give him a shot. Let him come out there, man, and let him eat. Okay, let him sink and swim. You got to give him a chance. So I like now this guy having an opportunity to say, okay, well, look, now it might be me. Shoot, Trent McDuffie, when he came in, started, okay? Other guys, when they came in, starting as a rookie. So this isn't something that's off the plate. I don't feel like that's something that we need to necessarily do. Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I guess everything will be kind of reliant on what we see tomorrow, what kind of guys become available. Like you said, and we're going to see a lot of purging going on around the league. So we'll see. Veach is going to be taking a look, and he's going to be showing Spags who's available and who he's interested in, and we'll see if that happens.
I like it's Witchy Hall. What's up, Witchy Hall? Good to see you in here. It said no one develops young players as well as Spags. That's the truth. That's the truth. Look, Marks, we talked about this, and we remember when the young guys came in. It was against the Bills game. I think second game of the season, they was getting torched, or at least there was just minor things as far as technique-wise that they just weren't doing well, right? But you could tell they was going to grow. Oh, get rid of why is Spags letting these young guys play? Because these guys need to get prepared. They need to get ready. Because if something happens, at that time with Sneed and McDuff, these guys need to play. We need to find if they can play. We need to find if they can play right now. So that's why you test them in the waters. You put them in a fire immediately to see what they can do. Because if something happens and, all of a sudden, at the time, Sneed or your number one goes down, you're looking down the bench, and the bench is looking at you. You're like, oh, this joker right here don't want to go in. You want a sucker like this picking up his helmet right now. You need one, coach? You need one? That's the guy you want. You want that guy. You want the guy that you turn around, you look at it. He turn around looking to see who you looking at. He ain't the one. He's not the one, man. So we'll see.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.